now we've got all of our media in and synced, and we have organized it according to scene and take numbers, renamed our footage accordingly to the metadata, and we have essentially lopped off the tops and tails so we don't have to look at pre and post slate and roll. So the next step in the process now would essentially be to go through and start organizing even deeper based on creative opinions of the director, the editor, and like. So this is where it would really depend on you. If you want to stay in thumbnail view here, or if you want to go back to list, where you can see a longer film strip option view on the top here, regardless of whether you have the browser in thumbnail view or not. I actually like to do this when I'm going from clip to clip taking notes. And essentially, the first thing I might do is go through and mark certain sections of certain clips, entire clips, either as favorites or to create additional keyword collections to the ones that I already have. Now, the trick with keyword and smart collections, in my opinion, is being specific enough with your keywords to organize sufficiently, while at the same time not going overboard with hundreds and hundreds of keywords. So, like I said, the next thing I might do is go through and let's say I really liked that moment. I'm going to set my in and out by going I and O. And if I hit F for favorite, come down here to my list, hit that little triangle disclosure, and you'll see that my range that I've selected has become a favorite here, where I can, let's take this notes column, slide it over here. If you're not seeing a notes column, simply right click on the top of the column bar here, and you can add it down over here with additional things. Now, right here in this favorites column, I can add a note like, this was the director's favorites. Now what's cool is that this favorite right here as metadata, but also these words right here in the notes are searchable later on if we want to find this either in through the browser right here or through the timeline index over here, which we'll go through over in a few moments when we have a project in here to look at. Now, moving on to the next clip here, another thing you might want to do is add a note onto one of these clips. So let's say this side angle view over here, scene 1, take 6. Let's say I really wanted to make sure that the actor in the background was darkened during color correction later on. I know it's a random thing to want, but let's just say it's what you wanted right here at this moment. So you'd navigate to this moment, hit your M for marker, and then hit your M again to bring up your marker editor. And here you'll see you have 3 different choices for markers, one of which is not available in the browser, but only available later on in the timeline. First one right here is just your basic old marker where you could put a note like, make actor in background darker. Or the second one here is actually a to-do note where you could make this same note, but then when you click done, this will show up as a task where once an assistant editor has come in later and completed this task, they can actually click complete. And again, these things will all be searchable in the timeline index that we're going to go through in a moment. This one right over here is a chapter marker, which obviously isn't available in the browser, but would only be available in the timeline where you can create chapters. So if we hit done right here, and one of the next things you might do is start adding specific keywords or new keyword collections onto your clips. So let's say we were going through this and you found a clip right here that had some great B-roll in it. I know this isn't B-roll, but let's pretend like it is. So right here, the camera pans to the left and you get this great shot of B-roll. And so I want to go Command K to bring up your keyword editor right here, and then I will type in B-roll. Boom. Now, not only has that created that range down over here where we can add notes such as 2 guys on deck B-roll, but this also becomes a keyword collection up over here that you can select, and you'll find all the clips that you've added B-roll to. Since B-roll is such a widely used keyword that you might want to save for later, you can go ahead and assign it to one of the keyword shortcuts here by dragging it right in. We'll get rid of scene right there. So now when you are on a clip of some other kind, let's go back to our synced media, and you simply hit Control 1, you'll see that that B-roll keyword was applied, because right here, Control 1 is the shortcut to add B-roll onto a clip. You can also select a range up over here and go ahead and select Control 1 again, and boom, B-roll is added, but just onto the range that you have selected here in the timeline. And again, you can go and add some notes right over here for your director. Another handy little thing I'll say is that if you do like your thumbnail views, so you're able to see your clips, and if you're like me, you'll like to increase the time so you can see various different sections of the clip, you may say to yourself, well, what if I wanted to see what the keywords on these clips were as well? Well, you're in luck, because if you go up to View, Browser, Skimmer Info, or you simply hit Control Y, skimming over to the marker will give you that note that is on the marker itself. If we go down to here to this clip where we added the B-roll keyword, you'll see that when you skim over it, the B-roll keyword comes up. So this show skimmer option, which again is Control Y, is a great way to just get this keyword information even when you're in thumbnail view. Now the last thing I want to talk about with advanced organization is smart collections and library smart collections. Now right over here you'll see we only have 2 events right now in our Final Cut Pro X Marks the Spot training library, but normally we would have dozens of events, generally based on the days or camera cards of information and data that you're bringing in. Now, that is the case, it's important to understand that any keywords that are assigned to clips inside this event are not searchable and sortable with keyword collections and smart collections wholly made inside this media event over here. Those are what are known as smart collections. Smart collections only function within inside the event that they're created in. So, for instance, if we were to create a new smart collection over here in the media event, and we went ahead and went B-roll, and double click on this. This is your smart collection editor. This is where you add on various metadata elements that you would like to use to sort through and find clips. So like, let's say for instance, the media has to have video with audio. We want to find this B-roll down over here. As you'll see, when we add a keyword, the B-roll keyword collection from this event is not available here because again, smart collections are only within the event it's created in. If you wanted to create a smart collection that spanned all of your media events, that would be your library smart collection. For instance, if you're on the media event right here and you go to File, New, you'll see that you have Smart Collection as an option. But if you go to the library above it and go to File, New, you'll see that Library Smart Collection is an option. Clicking on that, you'll see it is now outside of any of the 2 events. And if we label that as B-roll, go ahead and double click it, because again, calling it B-roll doesn't filter the B-roll in. We simply have to go and find the keywords, and there you are. The B-roll keyword collection from this event down over here is now included in the smart collection options. So you can filter B-roll from any of the various events into one master library smart collection. I can't say what a game changer that is to have a smart collection that spans the entire library as opposed to individual events. You will find that there are various times in which you will find one works better than the other, but that will all be greatly dependent on your workflow. And finally, rather than having to right click or go to File, New and create the library smart collections, double click on it and then create the metadata filtering through all of your various different options that you have over here, another way that you can do it is by, again, either going into the library by selecting the library or individual events and going up here into your search bar. Now once your search bar goes, let's say you wanted to find that B-roll. There it is. So rather than creating a smart collection over here and adding the metadata, you can simply go to this little button right here, toggle filter HUD. This brings up the Smart Collection editor with whatever search parameters you have here added already as the filter. So all you have to do is click New Smart Collection, name it, and boom, Smart Collection with the B-roll inside of it. Now, if you're working on serialized content, maybe a series, maybe you're doing blogging, you're doing YouTube videos where you're going through videos all the time but using a lot of the same meta tagging for your data, it's a great way to pre-populate your libraries with these smart collections in order to automatically filter media, footage, audio as it comes in.